Good morning, it's Audrey, Stitchy Witch 42. It is Thursday morning and I thought that I would sit down and do this video while my brain is still working. I woke up this morning with a bit of a sinus headache and I've already had a couple of calls from the store because our newest bookkeeper is just dealing with all sorts of fun stuff that brand new bookkeeper shouldn't have to deal with, so I've been answering calls and text messages all morning. So I'm still on my jammies. This is bed hair, this is no makeup, this is jammies and a half a cup of coffee, and I'm not quite wide awake yet, and it's after 8, I think. But besides all that, last week I got to go to Acorns and Threads and meet 3 very, very nice ladies, fellow floss tubers, sister floss tubers. Michelle Garrette, Bendy Stitchy, she lives in Eugene, Oregon. Joe Cobb, pretty southern, from Tualatin, Oregon. And Lisa Smith, Kindred Stitcher from Olympia, Washington. And we all met up at Acorns and Threads, which is in Portland, Oregon. I think Michelle and Lisa had the longest drives. Lisa probably had the longest drive, but we're all within, well, I think they both said it took them about 2.5 hours to get to Acorns and Threads. It took me 45 minutes. Acorns and Threads is a small shop, but it is so nice. And the lady that runs it, Janine, is just a really, really sweet lady. And there are so many goodies in there. It can be a little bit overwhelming because you don't know where to start. There's floss and there's patterns and there's beads and there's patterns. If you go in and use the restroom, they have pictures of patterns on the wall so that you're still trying to figure out what you want when you're using the facilities. So anyway, the 4 of us met up. We did some shopping. We were looking at patterns. We were giving each other's ideas. And there had been a group of ladies sitting at the table stitching when we got there. They left and we swooped down on the table. Of course, there wasn't anybody else in the store at that time. And we started stitching and talking and laughing. And if you got to see Joe's video from last week, that's exactly what it was the whole time we were there. And time just flew. It was fun. It was fabulous. So anyway, in her video, I had said that all my purchases were behind the counter, that I hadn't paid for them yet. And I have them here. So this time I actually have something to show you, and I'm kind of excited about that. So drink up, everybody. We'll get this show started. First of all, Michelle gave me her pattern that she was working on. She had gotten to the point where all she had to do was fill in the black on the houses, so she gave me her pattern for the town of Halloween. It's primitive Hare, and it is definitely going to go into my stash of things that I need to make soon. And I'm a fan of Mill Hill kits. I love them. I love the sparkly beads, and I just think they're cute and they're easy and they're fun. And I know perforated paper isn't everybody's thing to work on, but I like it. And I've seen a couple of these, the Buttons and Beads series. This is Haunted Hotel. And so I got that, and it's got everything inside of it. It even has the little ghosty. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I know that they have a couple others in the series that I've been looking at, but this is the one that she had there at Acorns and Threads, so it's the one I got. And then my sister had lent me a pattern here a while back, one that she did. She did it on the called for material. It's calls for 40 count pear linen, and I'm not doing 40 count. I'm just not. I'm going to stick with my 28 count linen, but it's this one. Double Double, Toil and Trouble, Fire Burn, and Cauldron Bubble. And I found this fabric, which is, I have it upside down, Colorscape Linen Legacy. It's 28 count. So I got a big piece of that. Janine at Acorns and Threads offered to cut it down for me to the size that I needed, but I figured, you know, who can't have extra fabric in their stash, right? And then there is another one that I had bought here not too long ago. I ordered it from 123 Stitch. It's a waxing moon design called Witch on Duty. Witch on Duty, casting spells and taking names. I think this is so cute. And it's so me. So I found a cashel linen in flax. And this one I bought the fabrics for. And I bought almost all of the Gentle Arts and Simply Shaker threads that it called for. Those are going to look quite lovely on that material. There were two colors I didn't buy, and it was both of the variegated blacks that they had. Michelle had been looking around the shop, and she found this basket of reduced flosses. And there wasn't a lot of variety of colors in there, but there was, you know, it was single skeins of floss or two skeins of a color. Dragonfly Lotus Designs Hand Spun Thread Mulberry Collection. These two are called Fantasy Epic. And I got them to replace one of the blacks, the variegated blacks in my pattern. This has greens and it looks like blacks and maybe a little bit of a purple tone to it. So I thought that that would be fun to play with that. And the other black that the pattern calls for, I'm just going to use 310. You know, sometimes you just got to mix it up. So I have everything all kitted for my Witches on Duty. And that is one that'll probably get started fairly soon. I'm a Halloween person. It's November 2nd, and I have to start taking Halloween down, and I'm kind of sad. So this afternoon I'll start packing up all my stuff, but that doesn't mean I have to stop stitching Halloween, because I stitch Halloween 365. I do other things, but there's always something Halloween going on in my house. It's just... it's the way I roll. Last week I was watching Lori, Mischievous Stitches. Love her. And she was talking about a woman, and I have heard this name before. I didn't know who she was. There are times I feel like I'm a real novice, even though I've been stitching for 38 years. There are times that I feel like I'm a real novice because I don't know designers' names. I don't know the patterns' names. And I see something, I like it, I buy it, I stitch it. And it wasn't until getting into the groups on Facebook and starting to watch the other people on FlossTube, and that seeing that people are really into specific designers, or, you know, you hear people talking about Lizzie Kate. It kind of just goes over my head. I don't know who or what a Lizzie Kate is. On the other hand, I do know a couple of names because I have stitched those patterns. I know that's not making any sense at all. I'm sorry, I'm babbling. I'm tired and I have a headache, and that's not an excuse. It just is what it is. Anyway, Lori was talking about this woman, and I'd heard her name several times, and I thought, okay, I need to go check her out. Kathy Haberman. I went to her channel, and she was doing, she was showing off a bunch of pieces that she had finished, and some she had refinished and redone, and she showed this one piece, and I fell in love. And it was like, I have to have this, and I need to have it finished exactly like her. So I wrote down the name of the finisher, and I started looking for this pattern, and I didn't know who the pattern was by. So what I do is I always do a Google search, and I typed in "Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead," and I found the picture. And every place I looked said it was out of stock. Not available, not available, not available. So I sent Kathy Haberman a message and asked her where she got it, and she replied. So I went to 123 Stitch and I found it. Out of stock. It's just not fair. It is so pretty and so gorgeous, and I wanted to have it. So I said, please notify me when it shows up. And Monday morning, it did. As soon as I got that email, I went to the site, I clicked on it, I grabbed my debit card, I paid for it, and yes, my pattern did get mailed alone, but I got Wicked Witch by Lottie Da. I am so excited. I am going to stitch this up. I am going to do it on the called for fabric. I am gonna follow this one to the T because of the way Kathy Haberman's looked. I absolutely loved it, and I am going to copy her because it was beautiful. So, Wicked Witch by Lottie Da. If you're lucky, you might be able to find it at 123 Stitch. They said they had very limited quantities. Okay. And the last little thing that I bought up at Acorns and Threads was a little kit. The four of us were standing there talking, looking at various things, and I saw these little things, and I thought this was really, really cute. It's Creative Needle Arts. It's a little tart ornament, and the kit comes with the tart and the 18 count Ada and all the floss and everything. So I actually started that the other night, and this is as far as I've gotten, which is actually pretty far. I've never worked with this floss before, and in all honesty, I don't think I will when I'm done with this again. It's Mouline Finca, Mouline Finca floss. It's from Spain. The colors are beautiful, but as you're stitching, it shreds. And it is really a good thing that they give you a lot of extra floss with this. You get a full skein of each color. You get 2 full skeins of the orange. But I pull the needle through the fabric and it just shreds. I don't know if that's normal, but I've had to I've had to cut new floss several times just to get to where I'm at, and it's rather frustrating. But I'm looking forward to doing this. Like I said, it has everything in it. It even has the little tart, and it's got the little piece of foam that you put it in. So I'm actually kind of excited to see how this turns out. It's got a hole here in the tart to hang the ribbon from, and then I will have a fun little ornament. But yeah, creative needle arts. If somebody else has ever tried one of these, let me know what you think about them, if you've had the same experience with the floss, because I just think that that's so weird that I've had so many issues with it just shredding. So, anyway. That's all my goodies that I bought this week. I have been working on my plague doctor. He's put away in his bag somewhere in the kitchen with all my work stuff. I got to the point with him where I had to work on the brim of the hat. And I was feeling particularly lazy when I got to that because if you look at the pattern, the brim of the hat goes across 3 pages. It's not a lot on the first and third page, but you know, mostly there on the center page. And I didn't want to have to keep moving my Q-snap. So I actually turned my Q-snap on a diagonal and put him across so that his hat was going this way, and worked on it that way. The brim of the hat's only like 5 or 6 rows, and since all I'm doing is the black, there wasn't a lot of stitches that way. It was a little awkward to work on, but for a lazy person, it was an easy fix. And I posted a picture of that on my Instagram, which is also StitchyWitch42, if you want to see what I'm actually talking about. Haven't worked on my Witch's Gate this week. It's just been really, really busy. Like I said, we've been training a new bookkeeper, had the meetup on Thursday. I got to go to a Rocky Horror interactive movie with my daughter on Saturday night. If you've never done that, go. It was so much fun. We laughed and we giggled, and people were interacting with the movie and play going on up on the stage. It was just a fantastic evening. And then Sunday I had to go to work even though I was scheduled off because the person who was covering me had issues and I had to finish up payroll. And then I went up to my niece's house. My sister Patty lives with her daughter Rachel and her family, and they share this beautiful home up in Washington. And I have Halloween envy when it comes into my sister's house. The two of them have got this wonderful collection of Halloween decorations, and the whole house was absolutely beautiful. My niece does a Halloween tea party every year, and that's what we were there for. And there was food and drink and candies and cookies and treats, and and then I worked odd days this week, so I didn't really get a lot of stitching in. I got a little bit done on the Plague Doctor, and I got a little bit on this one here. And today I've already had 3 phone calls from work. I can't tell you how many texts from work from various people asking questions and where's things at and who knows what. And I'm really surprised my phone hasn't buzzed off the stand with calls while I'm doing this video. I'm babbling. I'm tired. I have a headache. Probably not one of my better videos, but it is what it is. So I think I'm going to leave you now. Maybe next week I'll get back on a regular schedule again, because hopefully life at work will settle down, and if not, well, you know, we get through it one day at a time. Anyway, thank you all for watching once again. Thank you all for the comments. I have gotten so many wonderful comments from people on previous videos, and everyone has made me feel so very, very welcome to this community. Thank you all for that. It is very, very nice. I don't get the chance to leave comments very often because I watch FlossTube here in the living room through the television, and there's no place to leave comments. So if I do leave a comment, it's because you've actually made me get up out of my chair, go run into the computer, find you there, and do so. but I subscribe to so many of you because I just love seeing what everybody has to say, what everybody is working on, how different we all are, but we're all doing the same thing. This is a fabulous community to be part of. Thank you all for letting me be part of it, and I will see you next week. Until then, live long and stitch on. Bye.